Hello and welcome to episode 123 of Bettin N Boozin, right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I am not your host, Kyle Roscoe. I am your fill-in host, Noah Maher. As Kyle is, I believe he's in Vegas already, but him, myself, Ryan, and a bunch of the crew will be in Vegas this weekend. So if you are there for the NHC, make sure you go say hi. We don't bite, so make sure you head over to our tables and find us, and we'd be happy to talk. So make sure you find us, but I'm filling in. We will be covering the Oaklawn Park Saturday late pick 5. That's Saturday, March 15th. Scrolling on the bottom of the screen, you can see welcome to Bettin N Boozin. There's the email that Kyle's got in there, bettinandboozin@gmail.com. And then our weekly shows. This week we've had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then not Thursday, but we've got a tape picks and ponies that I believe it's actually going on right now. Monday we had a preview of the NHC with Mike Gillum and Justin Mustari. And then Tuesday night, last night, Pacific Horseplayers with myself, Ryan, and new member Jackson covered the Coast to Coast Pick 5 at Santa Anita and Gulfstream. So make sure you go and check both of those out. Of course, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. Go check out the socials that Kyle's got going on. He's got the TikTok and Instagram. He's been posting some short form content on there. You can go find that at Bettin N Boozin Podcast. Of course, Power Picks tip sheet been going really strong. Price is $21.60 a month, so a little over $5 a weekend, which is completely affordable. 210 all time, 793 total picks since February of 2021, and those have been going real well to start off the year of 2025. You can go purchase those and find out more about our podcast at our website, hhhracingpodcast.com. There's a switch up in the host, and there's a co-host that we got missing. Charlie Freeman is unfortunately sick, and he was supposed to join us last night to cover the Coast to Coast, but due to his illness, he will not be joining us tonight either. But we do have my good friend from New Jersey. It is Mr. Patrick Kunzel. What's going on, pal?
What's going on? Yeah, you're pulling double duty this week. Then you go out to Vegas. Man, I feel bad for your body. You're going to be knocked out.
Double duty, Vegas, midterms this week. It's been a lot. It's starting to drain on me, but got to get rejuvenated to go to Vegas, because I've actually, believe it or not, I mean, I just turned 21, but I've never really been down to the Strip. So excited to go check it out. I got Kyle to show me the lay of the land, so looking forward to that. We got Katie in the chat. She is ready. She's got sugar to stay awake for the show. I might need that. Jim Pilares is here. Hello, all. Here's the boss, Mr. Howard Kravitz. Thanks for pulling double.
There you go.
Of course, see him soon. Looking forward to that. Paul Conlon, very tough sequence. Buckle up, ladies and gents. Yeah, I would agree with that. Pat and I will be getting into that shortly. Jackson says, hope you don't copy my picks again like last night. Well, I can't see him, Jackson, so it doesn't matter. And he says, fantastic sequence and the place to bet for Saturday NHC. I think there's certainly some prices you can get, Pat, and we will talk about that here shortly. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the races as I pull up the Equibase for the first leg of the late pick 5 at Oaklawn. It's race 7. 3:40 local time. We got allowance optional claimers, 35,000, running for a giant purse of 130,000. Mount of 16th on the main track, got a nice field of 10, and we do have morning lines. Morning line favorite goes to the 5. Where's My Ring, 4-year-old filly for Francisco Arrieta and Val Brinkerhoff, a horse that I am very familiar with. Picks are on the bottom of the screen. Pat and I are very similar. I'm going 7-10-4. Pat going 4-10-7, so the same 3 in a different order. Pat, will have you started off with the 4 Majestic Oops.
Yeah, Majestic Oops for Dan Ward and Martin Garcia. You know, I did really like her last effort. Did just get beaten by a neck in that spot. Back on the 23rd. And then they're going to bring her back here. Within a 3-week turnaround. So I think that, they think she's doing well, obviously, at 5 years old. Dan Ward does seem to place his horses, pretty aggressively. This horse has kind of come up the ranks here, since getting into his barn. I think it's going to probably be sitting second or third in here. I'm not sure how quickly this pace will set up to be. Should honestly be, the second choice. I think we're going to have to watch the board with Where's My Ring, as, she is second off a pretty decent layoff in here. And a horse that, to be quite honest, was really fun because, she was out on the West Coast and then came east and, kind of took the East Coast by storm And then, obviously what happened in the Kentucky Oaks and kind of everything fell off from there. But I think with the 4 here, I think she's in great form in here and should sit a nice trip. And I'm hoping can finally get a win on her belt because she's been right there.
No, I agree with everything you said, and I feel like people might be a little skeptical to bet her just because she got such a good trip last time. It was a stakes race. She was 25-1, so obviously she wasn't expected to perform all that well. But I think she could sit a similar trip. I think they had the 3 on the lead when we looked at time form, and she should just be right off the 3, so she'll get the first jump on others. It's just whether a matter of fact if she can get back to that 83. And then with the 5, where's my ring? Obviously, the last time was definitely preppy for her. Yeah. Just kind of looked like it. She gets back out to 2 turns, but it just seems like this is a favorite. You got to try to play against Pat, and I think we're in agreement there. Second horse we will talk about is this horse right here. This is the 7, Feeling Beachy, 9-2 on the line. You've got her third. I've got her on top. I'll let you talk about what you like better first.
Yeah, no, she gets to the, gets back to the dirt here and, won impressively. I thought at Fairgrounds, was obviously supposed to be on the turf. So, that, you do have to question a little bit there, but that's one of those things where, they find out, okay, this is where she is. And Norm Cassie has been doing very well at Oaklawn. So I think here, with Feeling Beachy and Ricardo Santana, I'm not sure where Ricardo's going to have this horse because it has been coming from off the pace. So, I know obviously you have a stronger feeling than me. So I'd love to hear what, your kind of inclination is here with the 7.
And I think price might have been the biggest factor for me because like you mentioned, a lot of her races were on turf. The 2 races on dirt were taken off of the turf. So people are just going to kind of, assume that she beat turf horses, which is, a fair statement. But the way she did it last time, I thought was really nice. She's a 4-year-old filly. She's only run 6 times in her career. I just don't really see why she can't take another step forward off of that 83 and a 106 time form, which I think both of them might be co-top or top in the race. And we just kind of seen what the 4 can do. We've seen what Where's My Ring can do. I think there's still some upside with the 7. So I've got her on top. Last horse that we will touch on, Pat, is this horse right here. The 10 Carrara, Leparoux, McPeak, ran a really nice race last time and can certainly get back to that.
Yeah, I think this pace is going to have to be hot for Carrara in here. I think it's kind of a dead closer. Does have some races going way back in 23 that would make you think could be closer, but I don't know. I think this horse will hit the board, but it will need some pace to run into, but has been running consistently in those, lower 80s, which, you hit on, Noah, that would fit right in this spot.
Yeah, definitely. The negative with her, I guess, would be just kind of working out a trip from the outside post, outside at Oaklawn, just from experience. I don't play a ton of Oaklawn, but just from limited experience, it's not a great spot to be. I know time forms got it not hot or not cold in terms of pace scenario. But I think there are versions of this race where things do heat up. You've got the 1 to the inside, who I think is pretty quick. She's got a 106. And I think there was another horse that was pretty quick. This horse right here has got a 108, and she won on the lead last time. So I think there are some horses that will go. I don't think the 3 will get necessarily an easy lead. I think there will be some horses pressing each other and maybe could set things up for the 10 horse. We'll move on to race 8. I'm going 7, 10, 4, and Pat is going 4, 10, 7. Next race of the sequence is race 8, of course. It's up on the screen now. $25,000 claimer, $45,000 purse, 6 furlongs on the main track, of course, and another big field of 11. Morning line favoritism is a slight favorite to the 4 Jackman. 7-year-old gelding, the Asmussens, Eric and Steve. Second choice, a couple posts outside to the 6 Samurai Prince. Another 7-year-old for Vasquez and Martin. Let me get the picks up now. A little different here, Pat. I'm 6-4-3, and you are 3-4-1. You've got the 3 Midnight Pranks, who I definitely respect. I've got him in third. Christian Torres, leave him off your tickets at will, and a nice price at 5-1.
Yeah, this is a race where I have a feeling people at the NHC, are going to be looking for a price in here. This is a tough one. The 25K claiming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, listen, Midnight Pranks. you go back and I look at this form. The last two races, not very good. I mean, losing by 9 and 13. Did have a little bit of issues and were longer shots, and feels that this horse just doesn't fit in. So, it's going to get back to these lower level races, and I feel if the horse can just revert back to getting back into June and May, should be right there. But obviously he needs to show that. Was facing some tough competition, so it's not like this horse wasn't facing anything in here. Torres has obviously been unbelievable in here at this meet, and always is very well meant in this spot. So I'm going to hope the 3 can come from off the pace, because I do have a feeling with the time form showing that this could be a fast pace. I'm going to hope that this horse is going to make one run, being from the back of the pack.
Yeah, it should be. And this is the start of, I think, 2 or 3 races where it looks like there could be quite a few horses that are going to be sending out of the gate. Agree with everything you touched on with the 3. He certainly got back numbers. They threw him in a world of a spot back in January off the bench, had no chance in there. And then I thought he ran okay considering the price he was last time in that 50 N2Y. This is the lowest tag that he drops for. Obviously, he's been facing better. And then, like you said, Pat, he's got numbers to go back to. I mean, go back to June. It wasn't that long ago. Just lost by a nose with an 83 buyer, 105 time form. That certainly can get the job done in here. So I am thinking similarly to you. We'll go directly to the outside with this horse, the morning line favorite, the 4 Jackman. As I mentioned, the Asmussens. He's another one that's been facing better, get some class relief, but it just seems like he's gotten ample chances and just hasn't quite been able to get it done lately.
Yeah, I was trying to find a way to keep this horse out of my top 3, but the horse just seems to run. The numbers seem to just fit in here. So even if this horse does run a little poorly, I have a feeling, dropping to one of its lowest levels that the horse has ever been, should fit in here. And I'm not really sure where they're going to have this horse, because this horse has run on the lead and won. So if this horse can get to the lead and could get a little courageous in here. But I don't know. This is a tough spot, and I was definitely trying to beat the 4, but I think the 4 does deserve a top 3 spot.
So the NHC actually came out with their mandatories for Friday earlier on today. If this is a mandatory on Saturday, I would not be surprised at all, because this is a wide open race, 3-1 morning line favorite. You got a big field, or it's a decent sized field. It's not a huge field. But I think it's just really difficult because you've got horses dropping, horses that don't love to get the job done. You got older horses like the 4 and the 6 that I'll mention in a minute. So I think it's a tough race. This is the horse that I've got on top. This is the 6 Samurai Prince. I actually do have a little bit of a stronger opinion. This is another one that's dropping in the last 2 races, the allowance 20,000 2 back, and then the 30,000 open last time are just way too tough. You go back to 3 and 4 starts ago, back-to-back 80s, which I think are going to be good. When I showed the time form, he is going to be pressing, if not on the lead. But I think the advantage to him is he's kind of the quickest all the way to the outside. So Vasquez can break. He can let either the 2 that want to go, or if they don't break, he can just kind of clear, get over to the rail, and can kind of take over from there. So hoping to get a nice trip with the 6 Samurai Prince at hopefully around 7-2. Last horse we'll touch on, Pat, is this horse all the way to the inside. That's the 1 Rabbit Hound. Cutting back 2 turns to 1 turn. TW Bacon hops back on as he was 2 back. And another one that's dropping in for the 25.
Yeah, a lot of droppers in here, which makes you a little nervous, just because you got to wonder which one's going to come out of this rut that they've obviously been in to get here. But listen, I think this horse has been right there. Will be forwardly placed and has to be, I think, from the rail here, and should be. So I'm going to take my chance, with TW Bacon here, and hopefully can catch a price. I'm kind of all in the middle prices in here. I definitely don't hope to not have a favorite. And for your guys' sake, this is a mandatory race. You do catch a nice price in this race, because you should.
Yeah, it'd be quite the race. Certainly many different directions to go. Even if you're playing the pick 5 sequence, I think you got to use maybe 4 or 5 to get through there in the second leg. So interesting race. I'm going 6-4-3, and Pat is going 3-4-1. Middle leg of the late pick 5 on Saturday is race 9. and it's an allowance, and there is no level. But purse of 130,000, 6 furlongs for Archie Breds. This is an even bigger field of 12, and a slight morning line favoritism to the 7 Timbavati for Hara and Schultz, second choice all the way to the outside in the 12. Queen Mallard for Asmussen and Moquette. Let's see where we're going, Pat. I'm 5-12-2, and you're 12-1-5. You are going with the second choice, Queen Mallard, who I just mentioned. What did you like about this horse?
Yeah, before we get into these Archie Breds, I always, whenever I, handicap one of these races, all I could think about is when, I'd love to play last year was playing the cross country that would go with Aqueduct and Oaklawn, and there would always be an Archie Bred race. And every time, the boss and I would look at this race, all you could do is just shake your head because these things just always seem to have the most crazy results. So take it for what it's worth. The 12 here, listen, outside post is going to have to go, I think. And, obviously time form does show a fast pace, but this horse, I believe, is a one-way highway. Just, you got to go. And has faced, some pretty good Archie Bred horses in years, previously. So, and has dealt, honestly, with a little bit of trouble. But last out, I did think kind of showed, a little bit of talent. Obviously, that was, ended December, so we are dealing with a little bit of a layoff. McQuette's been good, not great, but he's steady Eddie, so I'm not too concerned there. Listen, I think Keith will have to get this horse to the lead and will hopefully clear because if he doesn't, then, we'll know within the first couple seconds of the race if this horse has got a shot.
Yeah, Pat, I don't love the fact that she's only run once since April of last year, which is, she's only run once in, almost a year. But I like her for all the reasons that you do. I've got her in the mix. She's a very likely winner of this race, especially if she gets out in front. There is some other speed, but just being to the outside, it's kind of the same scenario that I liked with the 6. Kind of sort things out. Doesn't have to worry about anybody to his outside. Let's go to this horse, Pat. I've got this horse on top. You've got this horse in third. That's the 5. She's a Dreamer. The other ass was in Terry Eoff. I'm not quite sure. This is a horse that I liked her last victory. She's got upside. She is a little slow, but obviously can improve. And you've obviously got her in the mix as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. You kind of hit on it. That performance last time, I know it only resulted in a 57 buyer, which, honestly is not that often here, but that was an impressive win. The way she was able to kick clear through the stretch. I think this horse has a great shot and should take another step forward for connections that, you don't hear too often about.
Yeah, no, exactly. I just think there's, even though she is slow, I think there is a bigger room for improvement. You can see she was, even though it was at Sam Houston, she was against Open Company and she ran just fine. She actually drew the rail that day. And she gets all the way out to post 12, overcomes that, and wins in going away fashion. Came back and beat a horse in the 9 Plinko at 15, or Plinko Chip, sorry, who I did think was a little interesting. And it looks like Rob N is a little interested, maybe just name-wise, but one that I looked at but didn't quite make the top 3. So I think that was a pretty good race in itself, not just the 5, but maybe some others. Let's go to the horse that you got in second. That's Fly Like the Wind. Another Christian Torres ride. Johnny Ortiz, who just, or maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. This is a horse that, has run some decent races in the past. You go 2 and 3 back are pretty much right with this group. And certainly one that fits. Definitely not any world beaters in here, which I think you should get a price here as well.
Yeah, I definitely think that this horse will be a price. She's going to be sitting probably, in the second tier, second flight of horses.
Yeah.
As there are a couple long shots that should go to the lead in here. Yeah, she's got a couple of races where I think fit right in here. She just, I don't know, in the stretch she's kind of lacked that late kick, and she just hasn't really finished. So I'm hoping they can get her to finish her races because this one she does fit numbers wise. So yeah, this is another tough race, and it's kind of trip dependent. from the rail.
She seems like she's one of few that you can really trust to maybe pass horses.
Yeah.
Even though she doesn't necessarily finish off her races, she can kind of close a little bit in the lane, and it just seems like one of those races where you could definitely see a scenario like that. I'm kind of hoping for a little bit of chaos, especially up front, because I've got this horse, Stephanie Starfish, 20-1 on the line. I've got her in third. Came from way out of it in the debut in 57 by or 77 time form, which again, it's not great, but compared to this field, just a little on the slow side, but nothing too dramatic. And then last time, I'm not really quite sure what happened, but she comes back. Comes back quick in good order. She's been working fine in the mornings, making stays, which I like. And then we saw it with the time form. I mean, there's plenty of speed in here to maybe set things up for her. So if she isn't able to get there on the win, and I think she can maybe round out some tries. Actually, one other thing I wanted to point out, there is one horse on the AE list, and that is the number 14, who's 7-2 on the line. So if she does draw in, pay attention to her. And I wanted to mention her real quick because one sec. Yeah, she was about 6-1 in that race, and she's 7-2 on the line. And this horse, the 2, was even lower than that. Obviously, she didn't run well, but you're going to get 20-1 this time. So I think it's a little bit of something you can maybe take advantage of, and maybe she comes with her best running late. We'll move on to the penultimate leg, but I'm going 5-12-2, and Pat is going 12-1-5. Next race that we're going to be talking about is the feature on the card, and it's the Grade 3 Whitmore Stakes, purse of $250,000, 6 furlongs on the main track. Not, the biggest field, but definitely quite the loaded and competitive field. Morning line favoritism goes to the 4 Booth off of a very impressive 105 buyer last time for Eric Asmussen and Steve Asmussen. And then second choice to the inside with the 1 Tejano Twist, our boy TW Bacon and Chris Hartman. Let me get the picks up now. And we're thinking pretty similar, Pat. I'm going 8-3 and you're going 1-8-3. You're going with the aforementioned Tejano Twist. Won at a short price last time. It just seemed like he was going to get the job done at some point. Finally got it last time. Maybe that'll give him some confidence going into here.
Yeah, full disclosure, I can never get Tejano Twist right. I've covered that horse, on this show multiple times over the last year or so, and I can never get this horse right. But listen, this horse is just ultra consistent. Obviously you just look at the lifetime numbers, it's just always right there. And that late kick is always so fun to watch. And, in the King Cotton, that horse just flew on, in a 4-horse field under Pratt. And, obviously it wasn't prettiest in the end because, I honestly thought Happy Is a Choice might have come back to win. But the way the horse broke a little slow, and then in the stretch, as we're watching here, seemed to go right by him. And then all of a sudden it was like, whoa, wait a second. Happy Is a Choice fought back. But I think, there should be a pace in here, and it should set right up for Tejano Twist. The horse doesn't break all that well sometimes, does go a step slow. So you just got to hope, that Bacon can get the horse out. And I think this horse has a huge shot. But I also want to, let you talk about the 8, because the 8 is Close the Game Sugar is, if at that last race we got a toss. So you can discuss everything else.
Well, I don't want to fault Tejano Twist too much for, I guess he didn't really hang, but, didn't kind of go on with it. Just kind of stuck around and let
You think the small field affected that?
I think it was more of just the fact that he didn't break great, and then Pratt had to make that big wide move to kind of get him in. I think he just used a lot of energy to kind of get back into the race, which is kind of what he likes to do. He likes to come from way out of it. I did maybe at first think that it was a small field. I'm kind of hoping that's not the case, because I do like him, and I'll probably play some exactas with him in the 8. I think you're thinking similarly there. Hopefully that is not the worry. We'll go to the 8. That is Close the Game Sugar. As you mentioned, Pat, I think that last race is a complete toss. You can see the quality that she was running, or not she, he. Let me drink of that.
I can do that too. No problem.
He was really good over the summer. He beat Skelly a couple of times, beat Hoist the Gold at Churchill, went all the way over down to Del Mar and just finished 2 lengths behind the chosen Braun, that being Crosby. And then, obviously, like you said, don't really know what happened last time, but I think you can kind of toss that. It was a really long campaign. But I'm going to trust Adam Rice that he's got him ready to fire here. I love the 9-2. I don't know if we're going to get that. I would think maybe more about 3-1, 7-2. But I think he's got a really good shot to set a really good trip, as long as Leparoux works out a trip from the 8-hole. Hopefully he's able to do that. You've got him in second, but let's go to the horse that we both got in third, and that's the 3 Giant Mischief. I thought this was a little sneaky pick, Pat, but I'm thinking similar to you. I think he could run a big effort off the layoff.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Brad Cox will put this horse in here if he didn't think this horse was ready. Obviously, comes out of a couple races. Comes out of the race in New York, over Thanksgiving weekend. And did run, very well in there. Actually ran huge for the trip that the horse got. And then, goes to the bench, obviously after running, a big campaign in a 4-year-old year, and has been working well at Payson. So I think this horse, we got to watch the board here, because if this horse is getting bet, that means this horse is ready to go. I don't know if you have anything else to say about the 3, but I'd love to hear a little bit about what your opinion is on the 4 Booth, because obviously that 105 buyer sticks out a little bit in this race.
It's just, the 105. I mean, other than his maiden score, where the hell did that come from? I mean, he got everything his own way. He was 12-1 in a 6-horse field. I don't think it's going to happen this time. Obviously, it's very possible, but it's just another one of these favorites, Pat, that I think you can kind of poke quite a few holes in, and I think you're supposed to try to beat. 4 for 8 lifetime, but no in the money finishes. So he's just kind of all or nothing. But again, if he wins, not surprised. Agree with everything that you said on the 3. I don't really have anything else to add. I think Brad Cox has always kind of thought highly of this horse. Go all the way back to Keeneland. He beat a horse that a lot of us are very familiar with. That's Arabian Lion. That was an undercard race. I don't know if that was Friday or I think that might have been Saturday. But ran a huge effort there, and they were way clear of the field. That was when he kind of opened eyes that day, and really hasn't done a whole lot wrong.
That was Saturday at Breeders' Cup Day, I believe.
I think it was Saturday, yeah. But I mean, Cox is, he shipped him down here to Oaklawn. He's been at Churchill. He's been all the way down to Santa Anita, back over to Keeneland. He won 2 back. I think that was the weekend of the fall contest, and a lot of people had him that day. So he's just kind of been all over the place, gets a little bit of a break, and comes back into a spot with a salty group. But I'm looking for big things from the 3 Giant Mischief. I'm going 8-1-3 in the Whitmore, and Pat is going 1-8-3. Last race we will touch on is not an Archie bred race, thank God. It's race 11. It is an allowance race, mile and a 16th on the main track, running for, again, $130,000 purse. Another big field of 12. It just seems like it's big field after big field. And the morning line favoritism goes to the 4 Mena for Romero and Blair. Second choice, the 9 Nullify for TW Bacon. And the coach, Dwayne Lucas. Here are the picks on the screen. And again, Pat, very similar. I'm 9-2-4, and you are 4-2-9. Starting off with the 4 Mena, who on time form is going to get the lead. And it looks like she could kind of have, or he, God, I got to do it again. Looks like he could have things his own way.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking in this spot. Horse has been, improving along the way here. Gets into Jordan Blair's barn and, ran very well. Listen, the horse last time came from off the pace and lost by a neck. I think this horse is going to be on the lead. And obviously Oaklawn has known to be favoring speed more times than not. So in this race, I'm not going to try and get cute in here. I think, this horse has just been consistent at hitting the board the last couple times. I don't know. I did cop out with a favorite in here. I've tried to dodge favorites most of the way, but I really couldn't get on anybody else.
Well, oh my God, I did it again. He is polarizing.
Just keep messing it up. It'll just make it go better.
Well, I've got water with me. You got something else.
Yeah, that's the problem here.
I should switch it up. But he's, if it wasn't for the time for him and him kind of getting his way up front, or at least what it looks like to be, I think he would be kind of in the boat of some of the other favorites where I could definitely poke holes because, he doesn't really, you look at his form lines, he doesn't really do much of his running on the lead. Some of his wins, you go back to September at Remington, that was off the lead. Last time he was on the lead was back in November, part of a hot pace, and ran just fine. I mean, I don't see why he can't do that again with the slow pace. But it's just weird because, a lot of times when you look at these races, you see someone with a 112 early time form. You expect, ones, twos, threes in those first couple columns, and you're seeing, sixes, sevens, fives. So a little interesting in that regard. I've got him third. You've got him on top. Let's go to the horse that we've both got in second. This is the one that's two posts to the inside. This is King Russell, 9-2, 1 for 19 with 6 seconds. It's certainly a horse that you can throw in second, and I think that's probably why we got him there.
Yeah, for sure. This is a fun horse, for Ron Marquette. This horse seemed to obviously we're going way back into 23, but was on the Derby Trail, and Marquette was really cool with this horse, advertising this horse a lot. I remember there was a big talk about this horse. Obviously, was a pretty long shot in the Derby, but this horse has just been running consistently at this level over the last couple times, and has been right there. I don't know. I just, in a race, I wanted a horse to show that they're proven in this spot, and this horse has shown that for me. And I get Ricardo. I know what to expect in here. This horse will come from out of it. So if this horse wins, it would not shock me, to say the least. But the horse has not won in a little while.
I wonder if Ricardo kind of sees what we see, and there's not a ton of pace in here, and he maybe tries to do what he did last time. Because you can see kind of 2, 3, and 4 back. He was about 3.5 lengths off of it. He was only length off of it last time. I wonder if that was just the nature of the stretching out to a mile and an eighth, or if maybe that was just jockey intentions from Ricardo. So I wonder if he's going to do that last time. And he lost to a nice horse in Bedard. Bedard's a pretty nice horse. I think he broke the maiden at Keeneland at some point. We've got a comment from this guy talking about the 13 Bold at Midnight. Jackson thinks the 13 is interesting if he draws in. This is one that got the job done last time on a little bit of a slow pace, got the job done 2 back. And I think one that you could definitely consider. He's 2 for 2 at Oaklawn, 12-1 on the line. So if he draws in, Jackson says, pay attention. Last horse that we will touch on, Pat, is this one right here, the 9 Nullify. Like I said, for the coach, Dwayne Lucas, TW Bacon, 7-2 on the line. Let's hear what you like about him first.
Yeah, TW Bacon, that race 2 back, I really liked. Just was really game, winning by half a length. And then, next out, that race, I don't know what really went on there. I don't know if you found an excuse in there, but this horse has just always seemed to fit. And the coach has been riding pretty hot at Oaklawn of late, and has thrown out some nice winners, and the horses have been running well for him. And this horse, honestly, looking at the work tab, has been working very forward.
Yeah.
So, I know you got some more that you have this horse on top. So, I definitely think this horse is in there with a big shot.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to mention, because I was thinking the same. I didn't really find much of an excuse last time. He was 5-2. He was well back that day and just didn't fire. But the fact that he comes back with that work, going 4 furlongs, 48 flat, that's not really something that, Dwayne Lucas really does. Yeah. So I think that's probably the indication that, hey, maybe it just wasn't his day. You can give him a little bit of a break. So I'm going to come back with him. And maybe the fact that he, just didn't run well at all last time, maybe you'll get a little bit of a price on him, hopefully close to that 7-2. So looking to get the job done with him to close things out in the late pick 5 on Saturday. I'm going 9-4, and Pat is going 4-9. Pat, we got best bets for the folks. Of course, we'll start with you. You're going with 2 win bets. First one is in race 7, a win bet on the number 4, Majestic Oops. And then fast forward to race 10, a win bet on the number 1, Tejano Twist.
Yeah, I'm not really getting cute here. I'm probably getting the second or third choice in race 7 in that allowance race. I think Majestic Hoops, will sit that stalking trip, and I'm hoping, Dan Ward can place this horse in a good spot. With Martin Garcia. That's kind of a wide open race. It is a wide open race, and then in race 10, the Whitmore, which I think is a fun race. I'm going to go back to the old well with Tejano Twist. If I get buried, I get buried. But I think this horse will get the pace in front of him, and he should appreciate it. So this is a fun sequence if you're playing the pick five. If we pick five ticket, you have to go pretty deep in a couple legs.
I think so too, and you'll find out how difficult I think it is because I'm going with the exact same style of bets. I'm going to win bets as well. Race 8, going with a win bet on the number 6 Samurai Prince. And then same race as you, Pat, different horse, going with the 8 Close the Game Sugar. But like I said, I will play some exactas 8-1, 1-8, maybe try and get Giant Mischief in there to try to get some value and maybe beat Booth. Maybe you can get a low value in there. So thinking similarly, I think it's a very tough sequence, my friend, and looking forward to watching and betting those races on Friday and Saturday at the NHC. Pat, it's a bummer that you're unable to join us, but I will see you in a couple weeks, my friend, down here in Lexington to start the Keeneland meet off right. So looking forward to that. Of course, if you are watching this live, make sure you comment, or as a replay, make sure you comment down in the video player and then check out our shows for Monday and Tuesday. Monday, again, the NHC preview, and Tuesday, Coast to Coast Pick 5 preview as well. But for my wonderful co-host, Pat Kunzel, this has been your host, Noah Maher, episode 123 of Bettin N Boozin, covering the Oaklawn Park Saturday late Pick 5. And I got to do what Kyle does. Crush those bets, win those photos, and stay safe, everyone. We'll see you next time.